Doing great.
I was talking to Grover about this, guys who've been here in multiple contracts now. I mean, you never know what's going to happen when you walk in the building in your situation. Is it remarkable to look back at it now?
I mean, absolutely. There's nothing that I don't look back and just, I'm so grateful just to be here, man. I mean, from 2017, I just remember clearly, just a kid with a dream. And just to be able to continue that here, especially now with my family, we have another one on the way. And then my little one, she goes to school, she's established. And then my wife, she has a whole agenda here. And it's just amazing to be back home. It's the best feeling in the world.
To get to this point after kind of going through the Achilles, just what's it like to think about how things end up working out?
Yeah, just gratitude, honestly, and embracing the situation. I think a lot of the time in your life, you just kind of go through ups and downs, and at the end of the day is how you embrace it and overcome it, So for me, it was just taking it one day at a time, and I think most professional athletes, go through their ups and downs themselves, and, it's just all about how you respond. So just gratitude.
Did you feel yourself, as you got further away from the injury, could you tell you felt more like yourself? I know that's how it usually works.
Yeah, it was a process, For me, it was, taking it one day at a time, and then obviously evaluating how I was feeling. And then once I was able to feel a little better throughout the weeks, because it was one day at a time, but then after that it was like 1 week at a time, and then it was like 1 month at a time, and I was able to tell the difference, For me, it was also trusting the process with, the staff that we have here that helped me get back on my feet. And, it was just an amazing feeling once I was able to, even run, because in the beginning I wasn't even able to walk really or drive. My wife had to drive me all the time, and for me it was just sticking with the process. And once I was able to pump my first ball, it was just the greatest feeling in the world, and I knew it was going to be possible to get back on that field for sure.
Rigo, what do you remember about the undrafted free agent process and why you chose here?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with Tom McMahon, the coordinator. When I was coming out of college, there was a couple options that I had to, as an undrafted free agent. I knew I was going to be drafted. Obviously, I had hopes I was going to be. But I think the kind of person that he was, I was able to trust him that, I would have a fair shot to compete for the position. And obviously, I heard amazing things about the organization. And obviously, to this point, going into my year 8, the Colts and organization, they are who they are. They take care of their people, and I'm just super grateful. And it was such a crazy experience, to be honest with you, coming in here as an undrafted guy, not knowing what the future would hold. But I've just been, patient and just worked really hard every single day to one day be in this position, and I'm just super grateful.
When you're an undrafted free agent, do you let yourself think about playing 10 years for one team?
The ultimate goal is to just be able to get into the league, and then after that, God took care of the rest. For me, it was just putting my head down and just worked every single day. But I feel like I was very fortunate to be around good veterans as well. When I came in, obviously, Adam Vinatieri was here, and I was just able to learn off of him and other veterans around, Jack Doyle, T.Y. Hilton, all those guys, the way they carried themselves. And they never had even when they were, year 10, year 11, whatever it was, year 20 for Vinatieri, it was just about the kind of edge they held every single day they came in the building. It was never like, I'm a veteran, I'm all right. Complacency wasn't an option for them. So for me, it was just something that I learned and embraced, and, here we are, thankfully.
It seems like, from the outside looking in, there's been a lot of loyalty shown by the team this week. A lot of guys got re-signed. You earned it. They're not doing you a favor, right? But just, is there something to be said for that? Just, rewarding guys when they do what they have to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful. Chris Ballard and the organization, Mr. Ursay and everybody, they obviously, first things first is try to get players that can help them win. So at the end of the day, that's kind of what I take pride on, being able to do my job and, be able to perform for them. But it's an amazing thing for them to be able to, be loyal to their guys. And I'm just so happy for everybody that got re-signed back. Those guys are all my brothers, and we all chit-chatted throughout the process. It was a crazy process, but we're happy to all be back.
How long did it take you last year to feel like you were back to your normal self?
Yeah, it took me, I would say, once I fully started punting, Man, I can't tell you an exact time, but it was like after 3 months after, I started punting the ball, I remember that, taking my full steps. Once I was able to take my full steps, I was like, man, okay, I know it's going to take a little bit to get fully to myself all the way, but definitely way before season, I was already feeling like, like Rigo. So I was just grateful to be able to come back and play, especially last year,
Having an offseason now where you don't have to worry about rehab and having a second year with your special teams coordinator, do you feel like things can now take a big step forward?
Absolutely. I feel like, Mason, he's done a pretty good job coming in from college. I think that a lot of credit goes to him in his preparation. He's an underdog as well. I think that's something that we always, talk about, just underdog mentality. And I think that the more experience he gets, the better it's going to get for him and for our group, to be honest. And I'm just grateful to be in the position where I don't have to do, the rehab process again, although I'm still keeping up with everything that I have to do. But, yeah.
Speaking as a group, how important is it going to be to get a guy like Ashton back in the lineup as your gunner?
Ashton Doolin's my guy, man. He's an amazing special teams player, but he's an even better person, and I think he's going to get right. He's going to be back right where he was, where he started. So I'm really excited about Ashton coming back, and can't wait to have him around a little bit more.
Rigo, sometimes the punter stats are kind of hard to really quantify, but when you look at what you did, and it's just not you, obviously, but all your punts last year and no touchbacks. That's really odd.
Right.
What do you attribute to that?
I mean, I think a lot of the time I'm just fortunate to be around good, gunners as well, good coaches, Luke, everybody that encourages you to do your job. Some of those you can control for sure, but a lot of the time I feel like it comes down to like ego punting. Sometimes like you're in the plus 50 area and you just want to pin the ball inside the 5. Yes, that's amazing, but sometimes you just gotta, do your job, hit the ball to the 8 to the 10-yard line, and then. But sometimes you just kind of have to go out there with the mentality of like helping your team out at the end of the day. So I think just having the right group of people around me is what made that happen.
Kind of going off that question, what stat do you look at that like indicates I've had a strong season, I've had a strong game?
I would say the net punting overall is the best thing, because a lot of the time you can go out there and boom a 65-yard punt, but if they return it 10, 20 yards, at the end of the day, it's about how much you were able to help your team with field position. So that's the most important thing. That's the thing I take the most pride on, Sometimes a 45-yard punt, no return is better than a 65-yard punt that gets returned, however many yards. So for me, that's something I take pride on and just continue to work on with my gunners, my whole special teams